a young woman in her late 20s, struggling to find her place in the world after a series of setbacks. Evelyn, an elderly woman, the owner of a small cafe that has been in her family for generations. Tom, a regular customer at the cafe, a quiet man with a mysterious past. Sophie had always dreamed of becoming a writer, but after losing her job and moving back to her small hometown, the dream felt like a distant memory. She spent her days wandering through the streets, hoping for a spark of inspiration, but found none. One chilly autumn afternoon, Sophie found herself in front of an old cafe that she'd passed countless times, but never entered. It was a small, faded building with a hand-painted sign reading, "The Last Chance Café." On a whim, Sophie stepped inside. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the warm glow of antique lamps gave the place a cozy, welcoming feel. At the counter sat an elderly woman, her silver hair tied in a neat bun, reading a book. Evelyn, glancing up with a smile. "First time?" Sophie, nervously. "Yeah, just passing through. It smells amazing in here." Evelyn, chuckling softly. "That's the secret recipe, dear. We're known for our coffee and our conversations. You'll find both if you stay long enough." Sophie ordered a coffee and sat by the window, watching the world go by. She wasn't sure what drew her in, but something about the place made her feel calm. Over the next few weeks, Sophie found herself returning to the Last Chance Café almost every day. The quiet charm of the cafe and Evelyn's gentle wisdom began to work its magic. Sophie started writing again, filling notebook after notebook with her thoughts, stories, and reflections. One rainy afternoon, as she was writing near the window, Tom, a regular customer, walked in. He was a man of few words, but there was something about him that intrigued Sophie. He always sat alone, sipping his coffee in silence. One day he spoke to her. "Tom," softly, "you're writing again." Sophie looked up, surprised. She hadn't realized anyone was paying attention. "Sophie, yeah, I'm trying. I used to write, but I lost the courage for a while." Tom, nodding. "Sometimes you just need the right place to remind you why you started." His words stayed with Sophie long after he left that day. The cafe, Evelyn's quiet encouragement, and Tom's unexpected wisdom had given Sophie the courage to keep going. A few months later, Sophie had finished her first novel. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. And for the first time in a long time, she felt like she was on the right path. One evening, she sat at the counter, holding her manuscript in her hands. Evelyn noticed and gave her a knowing smile. "Evelyn, you did it, didn't you?" Sophie, nodding. "I did. I'm finally going to try to get it published." Evelyn, "Good. Just remember, Sophie, this place isn't called the Last Chance Cafe for nothing. It's about second chances, and you've got to take yours when it comes." As Sophie walked out of the cafe that night, the sky cleared, and she could see the stars for the first time in weeks. She wasn't sure where her journey would take her next, but for the first time, she felt ready to face whatever came.